Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. Welcome to r/am I the butthole, where today we get to decide if someone was wrong or not. Our first post is by user/capanddonkey. Title says it all. I'm the sole provider for a family. All credit cards are maxed, negative bank balance, upcoming missed payments until my next check. Basically destitute for the foreseeable future. My wife and I usually decorate on Black Friday, but this year I don't want to. The thought of putting our fake tree, knowing I'll have nothing to put under it, fills me with such a mix of shame, anger, and pain. I would prefer to just let December pass and cut out as many things as I can until I can get my finances under control. Plus, my daughter is 2. She won't know, care, or even remember one missed Christmas. So, am I the butthole? I'm already a failure as a husband and a father, so what do you say here? And OP has added more info in future updates. Info, and I'm sorry for not making this crystal clear in the original post. Our mortgage and utilities are paid. There's food in our fridge and my next paycheck is secure, even though it too will all go to bills with none left over for gifts. I pretend not to notice that we weren't keeping up our pre-child lifestyle without credit cards, and I got in over my head and now have to dig myself out of a relatively deep hole, meaning I won't have money for gifts and meals out and holiday gatherings and whatnot for a good bit of time to come. But I have a great job and an outstanding family support system who all live close by and know what debt feels like, and will understand if we can't chip in this year with anything but our presence. But it just felt shameful to have the advantages I have and still manage to F it up as bad as I did without asking for help. Alright, I'm really torn with this one between no buttholes here and you're the butthole, because on one hand, there is absolutely no reason to cancel Christmas. Sure, OP may not be able to put gifts under the Christmas tree, but that doesn't mean you can't decorate or spend time with your family. But on the other hand, it's really hard to judge someone in a situation like this when debt's just been piled onto you and it just feels like a hopeless situation with nothing you can do. And I think user/straggling shadow has put it absolutely the best. A very gentle you're the butthole. Decorating with stuff you have won't cost anything, but will make your wife happy. Christmas isn't about presents under the tree. It's the memories you make around that tree with people you love. Let her decorate if she wants. You're also a butthole to yourself in this post. Listen, debt cripples people. It crushes them and spits them out so it has room to gobble up another guy. You aren't a failure, you gotta be nicer to yourself, man. Good luck. And look, even with all these bad things happening, this man still has a stable job and food on the table. And now he is also rich on Reddit with all the awards he's gotten for this post. Our next post is by user/deleted. My wife and I are both 42, and in marriage counseling, after our marriage basically went to trash after having kids, 6 and 4-year-old twins. And OP later clarified this is 3 kids, a 6-year-old and 2 twins that are 4 years old. A lot of issues and disagreements have come up in our marriage that have driven us apart, and I've been working through my resentment that going back for one more baby resulted in twins, including one which we're pretty sure has ADHD and ODD, and is a nightmare child. Our counselor asked me if I would have children if I had to do it all over again, and I said, honestly, no. I love my kids and would take a bullet for them, but if I had the chance to go back to 24 when I finished grad school and could do my life over again, I wouldn't choose fatherhood. It's not the fulfilling experience everyone claims, and while I love my children, the sacrifices are not worth it for me. I had a much happier life before having children and have gone from someone who loved life to someone who just makes it through the day, working a job he hates to provide for the wife and kids while silently wishing this wasn't my life. My wife is furious and taking it the wrong way, and even told our 6-year-old, "Daddy wishes you were never born," which makes me livid. You don't tell the kid that. Yes, I wish I never had kids, but I do love them, would never hurt them or want to upset them, and I didn't say it to or in front of my kids, and I never ever will. I said it in marriage counseling, what should be a safe place to talk about feelings. It has become a huge fight. Our marriage is not going to be saved now, and I know she'll try to use this against me in my divorce court to try and get sole custody and take everything and lie to the kids who I do love and still want to be a dad to them. She is incapable of understanding that you can love your kids, but also feel that parenthood was the best choice for you. Am I the butthole for saying it though? And it's interesting to read through the comments on posts like these, because there's just so much controversy. But I'm gonna say not the butthole OP. Because for me, this is determined by OP's action, and he has done everything in his power to take care of his kids. From what he says in edits and comments, he absolutely loves his kids and would do anything from them. He's working extra hours just to be able to provide for his family and doing everything he can to ensure his children have a good childhood. Alright, we've had a couple serious posts, and there's a couple more serious ones to come, but let's lighten the mood with this post by user/shortseller2. My boyfriend and I recently got into a fight, and he locked himself in the bathroom. He refused to unlock the door after I mentioned to him several times that I needed to use the bathroom. He lives in a studio apartment, so there was no other place to go. I didn't want to leave him in the middle of a fight, but I really had to pee. He heard me peeing and came out the bathroom. He screamed at me, called me disgusting, and then left the apartment. We haven't talked since, but it's his fault for locking me out of the bathroom. Alright, I'm sorry OP, but you are the butthole, because surely there were toilets, if not in the apartment building, then anywhere in the city, or you could have just gone back home. But at the same time, you are a very, very, very funny butthole, and I appreciate you posting on the sub. Our next post is by user/sunbeer. I, 46 male, live with my wife and 17-year-old son. My wife has been on a different continent for about a month, taking care of her dying mother, so it's just been me and my son for the time. My son and I have a very close relationship where he tells me almost everything going on in his life. On Saturday, he told me that he was going to his first ever high school party this upcoming weekend. He was a bit nervous since he had never really drank before, but he knew that he was going to on the occasion. I'm not sure if this is relevant, but this is in Canada where the drinking age is 19 in my province, and teenage drinking is very common. I've got to remark though, I think teenage drinking is fairly common everywhere. I asked my son if he wanted to have a few beers with me while we watched a sports game that night, as a test run of sorts. My logic was that if he goes into the party with zero awareness of his tolerance, that it could end badly, and it would be best for him to find out his limit in the safety of his home with me. We had some beers over a few hours in the night, and I cut him off at 6. He has had beer in the past, but never more than one at a time. He was pretty drunk, but he was okay and slept it off. We talked about it the next day, and we agreed that 6 was a bit much for him, and now he knows to have fewer than that at the party. I was actually pretty content with this whole situation, since he had his first experience drinking in a safe environment, and I feel much more comfortable with him going to a party now. However, in an effort to be transparent, I told my wife about it the other day over the phone, and she was livid. She thinks it was reckless and irresponsible. Am I the butthole? Look, honestly, I'd give you a really, really, really tiny you're the butthole for not telling your wife beforehand. But at the same time, if you know your son's gonna drink anyway, it's better to let him test run it in a safe environment rather than him getting really drunk with his friends and doing something stupid. Our next post is submitted by user/Mr. Savlaki. I was married to my ex-wife for 7 years, during which we've had 2 children, a girl and a boy. The girl is special needs and requires additional sessions with medical doctors for communication skills and social conduct. I divorced her 5 years ago on less than amicable terms, following which she decided to take our children and move to another country without my consent. Despite this, and the fact that she never requested child or spousal support in court, I've been sending them money on a monthly basis so as to ensure that my kids will have all the necessities in their new home. Furthermore, I've made an effort to visit them on a yearly basis, even though they're thousands of kilometers away from my place of residence. I've stopped making monthly payments on 2 occasions. The first time, my ex requested an additional payment of €500, supposedly in order to purchase clothes for my kids. And I found out that she used all the money to buy herself a plane ticket back to her natal country for vacationing. Following which, I made it clear to her that if she's going to misuse the money I send her for the children, I'm under no obligation to continue this practice in good faith. After I received assurances that no further misuse of the provided funds would take place, I resumed the monthly payments. The second time, my ex requested a significant sum for school fees for the two children, and due to the fact that I had paid a significantly smaller sum on the previous year, and that I had not received a copy of the relevant invoice, which I had requested for both tax purposes and to verify I was not being lied to, I requested that the ex provide me with the school's liaison so as to settle the payment directly with them. She got immediately abusive and defensive, acting offended that I don't trust her. Major red flag for me, and that she supposedly gets a different rate with the school than I would due to her being unemployed. After another string of abuse from her end, as well as stating that she doesn't need me because she's found another man to take care of her and the kids, I told her clearly that due to her refusal to provide evidence that she's using the money I send her on my children, as well as due to her continuous abuse towards me, I will no longer be making any payments to her. It has now been a year since I've last sent her any money with no communication from her end. I've sent her a message on WhatsApp requesting she verify her present address in order for me to send the kids Christmas gifts, but have received no reply. Am I the butthole for no longer sending money for my kids to my ex? And my first reaction to this was, why don't you just take this woman to court? Why don't you take your ex to court? And well, turns out the answer is actually a lot more simple than you'd expect. Because the ex just suddenly moved out of the country, there's nothing that OP can do. The only option for OP would to basically be take his ex-wife to court on kidnapping charges, and that could have quite an adverse effect on the kids. And really, the only thing I hope for in this situation is that the kids are okay. Alright everybody, that was r/am I the butthole, and if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to subscribe to the channel for Reddit videos every second day. Also, leave your own comments down below telling me who you think the buttholes were in today's stories. But with that said, that is it from me. I hope you all enjoyed, and all I want to do is see you all here next time. See you later, guys.